What's going on, y'all? It's Abby again. I'm back again with another one of my friends, another business owner. Y'all know. I love to introduce y'all to my friends who be doing big things, okay? So without further ado, let me introduce myself in case you don't know who I am. My name is Abby Souffrant. I am your Director of Revenue. I help small businesses scale up by partnering with the #1 customer in the world. And today, my special guest is Elisa Datcher. Y'all show her some love, throw some hearts in the comments. Please tell us who you are and what is your business.
So my name is Elisa, and I'm the CEO and owner of Vet2Mom Solutions. And I'm like you, except I'm still in the new stage. So I'm in the government contracting arena like you. But right now I concentrate a lot on helping aspiring entrepreneurs be able to start their business, to be able to hopefully contract with the #1 customer, which is the government. So that's my main focus. And then also another main focus is financial literacy. But financial literacy, that is so important, especially for our youth, because that's the next generation and they don't know anything.
Look, youth and adults, to be honest, but I'm grateful that you're going to help filter the new generation in as they become adults so they can know how to use money appropriately, how to take care of their credit, how to buy property. I know you buy property, you flip and all that stuff like that. So it's like how is your course outlined as far as like when you're teaching and youth? Like what are some main topics within financial literacy that you're going to be teaching them?
So, it's shocking. Like when you ask them about credit scores, most of them don't even know what the range of credit scores are. They don't know what affects their credit score. They don't know anything about budget. The ones that have jobs, they don't look at their pay stubs to see what is this money that's coming out? How come I don't have all my money? Like they don't know about that investing. And so I think the important thing I think is real estate, because real estate is not going anywhere. Real estate is always going to be needed. And to create that generational wealth, I feel like our youth need to start investing early into real estate. Because I didn't know anything about real estate till I got into real estate. And then I'm like, man, like back then houses were like super cheap. And I'm like, do you know what houses are worth now? So if their parents would have bought a house like for like $75,000, their house could be worth like $700,000. And so like that's a missed opportunity, like a huge, even for adults, people don't really realize how their mortgage can actually, instead of owing money, how they could actually get money back even with a mortgage. Like they don't understand that. And so that's one of my main focuses is teaching our youth about building that generational wealth with real estate. And then also obviously, saving, budgeting, credit score and all that. So those are the important factors I think our youth need to know.
Yeah. I would say when I was a youth, like teenage, even really going into young adult, early 20s, I didn't really I knew what a credit score was, but I didn't know how important it was. So I went credit crazy early on. I sure did. I was off the chain. I kind of went a little off the chain, and I was kind of surprised they was just giving it out because I just got it. I was just going here, apply for here, going over here. There was no strategic plan. It's like if I walk in Best Buy, they ask you if I want a credit card. Okay, sure, run my credit. Go over to where's my other one? I went to Pier 1. I want the dining room set. Go ahead, run it up. Yeah, messed my credit up badly from the beginning. But I made some changes, and I'm making changes. And I feel like the sooner the youth know how to manage and strategically use their credit, the better their life will become. There's always things that happen. Your car breakdown. Okay, well, I got good credit. I can go get another one, or I can get some credit to fix it. Whatever the case is. You moving to someplace new, your credit has to be a certain way. If you're going to be renting, They do check that these days. If you starting a business and you want to, you know, use other people's money, in some instances you do have to personal guarantee some of these things, not
Yep.
for long, but on the front
Enough.
end. And once you do that and take care of that, you won't really have to personal guarantee anything else, because you'd have established a good credit history with your business. And it sucks because I'm like, I wish I would have known better, but I also had some habits that I didn't know that I had. And so I wish I just would have did better.
Yeah, I mean, and what people don't really understand is, these businesses are out to make money. So they're going to approve as many people as they possibly can. And an 18-year-old has no credit. So they don't know whether they're a liability or not. So they're like, hey, I'm just going to throw money at you and let's see what you do with it. And then they don't realize also that with no credit score, your interest rate is astronomical. With bad credit score, your interest rate is astronomical. And so they don't really take all of that into account. And like, like you, I didn't really, like I said, up until probably my 30s. I'm still in my 30s. But when I reached my 30s,
not to my 30s until I got it together. I ain't gonna
right?
be
And
shady.
I'm like,
That's a whole decade of being an adult.
how much time I could have saved. And even like I said, real estate, like things I didn't even understand, like because I'm prior military, which is hence the name vet to mom. I didn't utilize my VA loan correctly because I bought a house, single family house. I was like, yeah. And then once I got into real estate, I was like, I should have bought a multifamily because that could have paid my mortgage and put money in my pocket. Like,
And
you don't think about these things. You never think about these things until it's too late. Well, it's not too late because I'm still doing it. But, people don't realize that you can leverage your mortgage to actually put money in your pocket.
Correct. And because we're in such an inflated economy right now, it's like, whoo. And let me tell you, and some people, they you feel how you feel about the economy. Now, my husband and I, we have lived in our house for 10 years this August. And when we bought it under 100K. In this last 2 years, we have, just for the economy just going up, and then like the things that are going on in our area, we have accumulated an additional 150,000 in equity. I ain't did nothing. I ain't did no upgrades. We just the same house at the same place. I ain't did nothing. See? So you're saying so basically in other terms is I have access to almost 150,000 plus whatever, I have paid on my house, essentially a percentage of what I paid on my house in the last 10 years as capital to do
what? Yeah.
Whatever.
Yes. And so I just, even my own kids, like, kids don't listen to their parents. So no matter how much I try to tell my kids, I'm like, okay, fine. You want it the hard way. Like, because I think the other thing people don't understand is when they think of retirement, they think it's a number, like you have to be an age. No, retirement is how much money do you need to be able to live on for the rest of your life. So let's see, let's retire at, these days, people are still working in their 60s, or do you want to retire by the time you're 30 and work because you want to, not because you have to? Like, who wants it the hard way? I know I wouldn't. I wish I would have known.
Let me tell you something. I am grinding these next few years, while creating my systems and getting things in place, so that I don't have to work hard, not like this.
No.
If it let my time now be the hardest time that I'm working like in and on my business to make it flow. Because if I don't do it, I'm gonna be working hard for the rest of my life.
Right.
And I think one thing that I have learned, and my husband always gets on me, he's like, we have to live within comfortable standards. Because if we don't, that money we're putting away for retirement is going to get eaten up very fast. And it's like, as you get older, you have less and less. Our children get older, they leave, or maybe some stay, but most of them are going to leave. Elisa and I both have 5 children each. So between us, we got 10 kids. Okay, there's going to be a couple that's going to leave for sure. Will 1 or 2 stay? Maybe. It just depends. But we're going to end up eventually downsizing. Like, we don't need all this. we'll have grandkids and everything, and they need a room or two, but we don't need all this after
Mhm.
like 20 years. We probably
Right.
don't. It could be the family house, which is fine. Then me and my husband can go live somewhere else, with no stairs or whatever else, make it more comfortable for us as we get older.
Mm-hmm.
Like very minimal, very minimalist. Like let me go, because I enjoy experiences. I enjoy traveling. So my house ain't got to be like all that and then some, even though I do want it today while my
Yeah.
knees still work, while my back is still upright. I want like the extravagant house and then some. But I do
Mm-hmm.
know that eventually I'm not going to live there. And it could be the house for my children, or it could be a property that is rented out as a venue for, let's say, a wedding party, whatever the case is. It can make money. But essentially, we have to start thinking about these things now and start working to get them in place, because before you know it, we'll be in 40. And most of us who are entering in our 40s, most of our children will start graduating from high school. And so now we end up having an additional more money coming out. If our children don't
Mm-hmm.
acquire scholarships and funding for school, there are things that are going to have to come out of our pocket. And we got
Mm-hmm.
5 kids each, and that ain't going to be cheap.
Right. Girl, who you telling? And this and I want to help our youth avoid the pitfalls. So when we when we were growing up, our parents used checkbooks to balance their accounts. Now it's swipe swipe. So how many people legitimately look at how much money they have in their account? Nobody balances their accounts.
I don't.
Like they
I
just
don't.
swipe until it's declined, and they're like, "Oh snap! Wait, what?
Oh,
I
I'm
had
in there. Yeah. Look, I got a checkbook right here, but I ain't used it yet. But this is my business one, because I'm trying to do right. Look, I ain't like, hold on, make sure I ain't got to show all my business on here, but y'all, look, whole checkbook. I ain't used not
yeah."
one. Actually, I'm going to use a check this morning. I forgot. But yeah, and then, it's got its, transaction, what's it called? Transaction register, basically balancing your books. You know how
Mm-hmm.
much you got, how much you use. Like, look,
We
y'all.
don't do that. Like people on their personal, they nobody uses checks. Okay, so people now don't realize that they still need to balance their account. Like you're spending, but did you account for all the bills that you have this month that may not have come out, like your electricity? And that's another thing. Our youth these days, like my kids, are always like, it's only $10. It's only $20. Okay, but that only $20 is on top of the mortgage, the car payment, electricity, food, gas. So that only to you, it is not only until they start spending their own money. Then all of a sudden, they're like,
Oh,
this is $15. I'm like, if you would have asked me to buy, you'd have been like, it's only $15. But that's the problem
exactly.
with our kids these days. They don't appreciate or value money because they feel like it's so accessible, because us as parents, we want to give our kids everything we didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't understand like the concept of how much everything costs. Like
Yeah,
groceries, girl, we never leave spending less than $100, and that's even if we get like 5 things. I'm like, and
correct.
there's 5 of us, or
Correct.
7 of us when you add
Yeah,
seven,
7 of us.
5 kids.
Yep. We
Seven
we
of
a whole
us,
we a
like.
whole family of 7, and we're not coming out really honestly no less than 150, to be honest, because it's like I'm gonna get eggs and bread 150. Just is what it is.
Yeah, and
No, and that's true. And so I know one thing I'm gonna start doing, because my oldest is 13, and I've been promising him to go. I'm gonna get his bank account and everything else, but he's gonna start working for us, and
mhm,
I'm gonna start paying him some money he can have access to, others he will not. We gonna
yes,
separate it. But I'm gonna have him for things he wants to do. Like, oh, my friend got a birthday party, then you pay for your friend's gift
that's right.
with your money.
I bet you them gifts get cheap real quick.
Right. They go from $45 to $15. I'm gonna buy them
Yep,
a $45 game. I'm gonna buy them a $15 gift card.
right.
I bet you will. I bet you will. And you got, you got to wrap it up. You got to get a card. You got to get that tissue paper. That just. Let me tell you something. One thing, and that's just good. I'm just going to go on a whole tangent. I hate tissue paper. When I tell you they're the business that make the most money, you use them for 20 seconds.
But reuse it. I reuse my paper.
See,
Girl, I
I ain't
reuse
there yet.
everything. I reuse the bags, the paper.
No,
I
I
reuse it till
reuse
it
the
got a hole.
bags. I'm like, don't tear that bag up. We're gonna reuse this. The
Girl,
tissue paper, I ain't there yet.
I have a whole bin of bags. So every time it's a birthday, I'm like, okay, let's see. I say, you know what? Don't say birthday, but it's okay. Here we go.
Right, right. And I try to get unisex colors, so it ain't too pink, it ain't too
Right.
blue, just in the middle. Perfect. Pinstripe, whatever. But yeah, yeah. See, look, you resources, being resourceful, you know, that is key. It was so funny. So 2021, I started couponing, and I kind of went crazy. I did. And so my husband was like, we can't fit no more in this house. Okay, totally fine. I have not bought laundry detergent in probably 14 months, 15 months. And mind you, we're a family of 7. And you know how laundry goes with a family of
Oh, I
7.
know.
And I probably have about, which I'm freaking out, I have probably about 12 bottles of laundry detergent left. And I'm like itching, like, because I used to probably have about a good 70 plus. And I'm like, I have 12. I'm about to lose my mind. I'm going back to couponing. But it sucks because I was couponing before all the prices inflated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so now I go back and I'll be like, well, my out of pocket used to be $4. Now you're talking about $7. 7? Well, I guess
Yeah.
7 is better than paying full price.
Right. Yeah, kid, like they don't ever look at prices. Like even like it's my kid's shoes. Both my son and my youngest daughter they're like in grown people sizes now. They're 15 and 12. Girl, I'm like $180 for some what?
Mm-mm.
I was like, but yes, I spoil my kids and they get the Jordan. But I don't get them like I used to. When they were little, like I used to get like 3 and 4 pair at a time because, you know, this was back in the day. So they, you know, it was like $40, $50.
You can stretch it.
Now it's like even my 2-year-old, if we want to get him Jordans, they're like $80. I'm like, what? We're not as keen to do that these days, but you know, that's just, and it's unfortunate, but you know, that's why like it's so important to teach our children about money because everything, the price is just astronomical. And if they live above their means from the start, then they're going to be digging out for decades or years and years and years. And who wants to, it just doesn't make sense for our youth to live like that. And, you know, our schools just can't or don't have the ability to teach them. And so we need to be able to do that, you know, when they can't. And so that's my goal, is to really just set the next generation up to accomplish things that we didn't. We didn't have the knowledge that we could do. Right.
So do you have a program already in place, or are you developing a program, your youth financial program?
Yeah, so I have the programs already developed, the topics and everything. And it's just about, you know, getting it into the schools. Because the other thing that I don't know if it's the same where you are, but let me tell you, the fights that have been happening at our schools here, girl, like last week, there was a fight at one of the high schools in our district, and one kid is getting charged with attempted murder because he paralyzed the other kid in a fight over a basketball game that neither one of them played in, that neither one of them bet money on. And now this kid is paralyzed for the rest of his life. For what? Our kids now, there is like, they need their time occupied. They need to know that there's hope. And I feel like a lot of kids feel like there's no hope. Like if they're growing up in poverty, they feel like they're destined for poverty. But if you give them the knowledge and the tools and the resources, they may be like, I ain't got time for that. Like, I'm trying to be able to travel. I want that Bugatti or whatever kids want, you know, whatever the case may be, but it's giving them hope. And I feel like a lot of our kids now, they just don't have hope and they don't have ambition. They just don't think. And now this kid is attempted murder. So his life could be ruined before it even started.
Oh my gosh, that is heartbreaking. And another thing I want to add onto that is, along with them not having no hope, I think they're also misled because of social media. And it's not even just, it's just the social media is like this. It just happens at a snap. things for people supposedly happen in a snap, and they want things to happen in a snap without having the resources, the knowledge, not even putting in the work. So I feel like a lot of times social media is making them a little too lax because they're used to getting things quickly. Like they don't even carry books, they carry a laptop. Okay,
Right.
my back was hurting as a youth, as a child,
Sure.
because we had like 5 and 6 whole textbooks to
Yep.
carry. And my mama did not pick me up. She made me walk
Yep.
home.
Girl, I always walked. I didn't get no bus and I didn't get no ride.
Always. Wasn't no ride.
No.
Rain, snow, whatever. You better make it home.
Right. Yeah, they have our that generation, our children's generations, they have a microwave mentality. They feel like everything is just boop, 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 30 seconds. Like it's not. And even social media influencers. How many social media influencers are there really that are really successful and make millions and millions of dollars? Coach be talking about that kid who makes millions critiquing toys. How many other children do you know do that?
Yeah.
And they feel like it's a 1 in a million, so they have to do all these outrageous things to be noticed. And
correct.
One, is that really what you want to be known for? And two, like how productive are you really? Like, yes, we social media is, some of our lifelines for businesses because everything's
correct.
digital, and we get that. However, there's still boots on the ground that needs to be done. Like we
correct.
met, we go to events, networking events, we handshake,
correct.
we meet people. Our kids these days, they don't even know how to communicate. Their communication is this.
Yep.
And that's not communication. Like nobody picks up the phone. Hey, no kids hang out anymore. And if they do, it's for trouble.
Yep. They in the house on a device. And it's hard. It's a very delicate balance. You have to be able to balance technology and just growth in general. Know input the filters of, this is good or bad, or this is worth it and it's not, or they're capping and they're not, whatever they say. And the thing is that as fast as technology is growing, they're at the front lines learning. And we as the adults can't afford to be lagging like that's not important. Oh, it's very important because you don't know what exposure gets to them. And we can go down a whole other tangent about that. But to reel it all back, at the end of the day, there's still some foundational pieces that are very important and integral for our youth, especially when it comes to the financial literacy aspect. If you're getting, $300 from YouTube and $400 from Facebook, like where are you applying that money? If you're still, at home with your parents, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Don't just spend it on Uber Eats, but learn how to invest it.
Yep.
Make your goal to have the highest credit score possible. I think a lot, like me and my husband, we want our children to fail as much as possible while they're at home because they still have a home. They still have time to learn. Failure at home is different from failure on your own.
Man, I tell my son that all the time. I'm like, boy, because pretty soon I said, you're going to get to an age where I can't get you out of trouble. That mommy can't save you. So you better learn and take responsibility. And the other thing, or speaking of financial literacy, our kids don't realize is, when you get money from YouTube and Facebook, they go spend it all. They didn't take no money out for taxes. So come tax time, now they owe all this money and they like,
what do I do?
I don't have any money. And then guess what? Now you owe the IRS, and the IRS is not somebody that you want to owe, because I promise you they will get their money.
Always. They always do. They always do. Oh man, this has been great. Like, listen, if y'all want your youth to get on track with financial literacy, definitely hit up Elisa. Her information is scrolling down at the bottom. Hit her up on her website. She's got some things on there. Find her on Facebook. And if you are interested in bringing her to your area, your school, you have an after school program, something dealing with probably what age group are you looking at? Like teenagers, young adults? Like what age group?
I like to start at middle school because, that's when they really start to want the bigger and the shiny. My main focus is middle and high school. And obviously high school is a little bit more urgency because they're about to be on their own. And
correct.
And this isn't hard concepts to learn, but it's hard in the sense that we have to retrain their brains to think differently than what they thought all the way up until that point.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Elisa. I appreciate your time and your expertise. I appreciate the work that you're going to do with our youth. Look, I'm going to send you my youth. I'm going to send you, I got one, maybe two. Well, my second one, she's all right. It says it's my son. He needs some fine tuning because he is a spender like his mama. And we need him to do better, especially as he gets older and starts mingling with the ladies, and I don't need her spending all his money. So we're gonna need to set some ground rules. So if y'all need to get your youth into place with financial literacy, y'all make sure y'all hit up Elisa. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Y'all make sure y'all tune into the YouTube channel, Abby Souffrant, for all of your business and government needs. Until next time, y'all stay contracted, make this money, don't let it make you. Bye,
Bye,
y'all.
y'all.